Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Vedvox. Today we are going to talk about the neurons, its anatomical structure and its classification. So, coming to neurons, these are basic building blocks for communicating information using both chemical and electrical signals. And the neurons are designed with specialized properties to receive, process and transmit the information. So as we all know that the neurons are the structural and functional unit that make up the nervous system. So these are the building blocks for communicating all the informations that can be received through chemical as well as electrical signals. And they can also transmit these kind of signals. And these neurons are designed with specialized properties because due to their particular or peculiar structure, they can transmit and receive the signals from other neurons, other effector cells, etc. The neurons, like any cells, have a cell membrane boundary, cell organelles and extensions which perform conduction of information and receptions. The most obvious difference between neurons and other cells in the body lies in their great variety of shapes and sizes. So neurons, like all other cells, they have the typical cell organelles, cellular membranes, etc. and have processes for conducting the information, etc. But the difference between the eukaryotic cell and neurons is that they will have a great variety of shapes and sizes. You can see neurons with long axons, with short axons, with no processes, etc. But if you look into a columnar group of cells, they will all be looking like an ideal cells. They will be all looking the same. That's the main difference between a typical eukaryotic cell and the neurons. So coming to the structure, the neuronal cell body, which is also known as soma or perikaryon or the cytome, contains the same organelles found in other cells. So there is no need to explain that, you know everything about it. However, the rough endoplasmic reticulum and polysome, you know polysome is, right? The polysome is a group of ribosomes present in an mRNA, and they collectively referred as missile substance or missile granules, which is abundantly found in this soma. And the area of the cell body where an axon originates is called the axon hillock. And this axon hillock is also referred to as trigger zone. Why? Because there in this axon hillock there will be regeneration of the action potentials that are received through the dendrites, and then these regenerated action potentials in the axon hillock is transmitted to the axon for further conduction. And just distal to the axon hillock is the initial segment of the axon, and the axons frequently branch at a distance from the cell body, forming synapses with other neurons, muscle cells or glands. That is, these axons will have a synaptic cleft. We will be discussing that later. So if you take two neurons, one is presynaptic neuron and one is postsynaptic neuron, and between these two neurons there will be a space called synapses, and that synapses is formed by the axonal terminals or axonal branches, which will release certain chemicals for generating that impulses in the next post neurons, etc. And this apart from this axon there will be other neuronal processes called the dendrites. Coming to the classification, we will be dealing with major classifications of neurons. First one is according to the number of processes. There are five classifications. One is apolar, unipolar, pseudo-unipolar, bipolar and multipolar. So coming to apolar, as the name suggests, there will be no processes. Coming to the unipolar, they will be having a simple processes which will be extended from the soma, and these processes will give rise to branches. Truly, as we say that these unipolars are rarely seen in vertebrates. Third one, pseudo-unipolar. So it is a typically bipolar neuron. As the name suggests, pseudo means false, right? So pseudo-unipolar means we may see like it is a unipolar, but actually it is a bipolar neuron. The only difference is here that physiologically the dendrite of this neuron will serve as or will function as an axon, and it will conduct the nerve impulse centrally. And these are also also called T-shaped cells because they have T-type structures. Example, dorsal root ganglion. Coming to bipolar neurons, these are the neurons that are spindle shaped with axon at one pole and dendrite at the other pole, and these are the neurons with the two processes emerging from the opposite sides of the soma. One of the two main processes extending from the cell body is highly branched and conveys information to the cell body. So, the typical bipolar neuron will be a spindle shaped, having axon at one pole and opposite pole having the dendrites. In case of dendrites, these are the processes with a highly branched and can conduct the signals from the outside to the cell body. In case of axons, they will transmit this information to other cells. Example, neurons of retina, olfactory neuroepithelium are all made of these bipolar neurons. Last one, the multipolar. They have many cellular processes extending from the cell body and are called dendrites. One of these is an axon and other constitutes highly branched dendrites. Most commonly seen in the Purkinje cells of the cerebellum, in the pyramidal cells of the motor cortex, in the ventral horn of the spinal cord. So, typical structure that we all learned and we all draw still now is a multipolar neuron. Based on this axonal length, the multipolar neurons are classified into two: type 1 Golgi cells and type 2 Golgi cells. In type 1 Golgi cells, they have the cells with long axons, while in case of type 2 Golgi cells, these are the cells with short axon. You can see the examples here. Based on the function, the neurons can be classified into three types: sensory or afferent neurons, internuncial or interneurons, motor or afferent neurons. Sensory or afferent neurons. The information from senses to the CNS from the external environment provides status report on internal activities that are regulated the nervous system. So simply, the sensory neurons are the neurons which will sense certain stimulus outside the environment as well as inside the environment and transfer to the particular processing sites. So coming to the interneurons are the neurons that form a point of contact or a relay between the two neurons, sensory neurons and motor neurons. In case of motor neurons, they carry instructions from the CNS to the effector organs to provide appropriate action. That is, from the sensory neurons, they will have the stimulus from the body or outside the body, and they will conduct these signals and give to the CNS or brain through internuncial neurons, and via these internuncial neurons, these signals, the processed signals are given to the motor neurons, and these motor neurons will transmit these particular stimulus to the effector cells like muscles, hands, etc. Thank you for watching this video. I'll be uploading the next part very soon. Thank you. And don't forget to subscribe my channel.